This month, I thought we would talk about Manolo and guide dog relationships and how that relates to the therapeutic relationship. Manolo turns 9 this month, which is August, and so I thought it was fitting to learn a little more about the dog when he is not in the harness.
So I feel like to some degree I know Manolo from your blog, but who is he to you?
When we're working together, Manolo is a very serious guide dog. He's always happy, wagging his tail, but he's very focused and he does take his job very seriously. I joke that nobody would know that because whenever they see us together, Manolo is also easily distracted and thinks everyone's on this earth to pet him. That's their job. And he's always pretty much on 11 with every emotion that he has, and he shouts about them, all of them. So he's a rather enthusiastic, exuberant, noisy boy.
Yeah, I would imagine that the relationship with a service animal requires a lot of trust, bidirectional. How do you build that trust?
Trust between a guide dog handler and the dog is built on thousands of little moments of trust. We don't know each other at all from day one. And so he has to learn my hand signals, and I have to learn his movements and what they're communicating to me. And he has to trust I'll follow through on things to make him feel secure. And so it's definitely much a very bi directional relationship. I think of it a little bit like the therapeutic relationship in that trust with a client is not built on day one either. And so I think, with me showing up and listening and meeting somebody where they're at, that helps them build more trust in me. And then over time, as they share with me, I can build more trust in them.
So I've seen someplace that uh, guide dogs are intended to display intelligent disobedience. What does that mean?
Intelligent disobedience is a phrase that basically means while Manolo and I are a team, we make decisions together, and his job is to follow my commands I give him. If I give a command that is not safe, so for example, if I tell him to go forward and cross the street and there's a car there that I can't hear, he is taught to ignore that command to keep me safe. I liken it a little bit to a therapeutic relationship in that I want clients to feel comfortable saying no to me if something I'm suggesting doesn't feel right. If the direction we're going doesn't quite fit for them, I think it's good advocacy for someone to be able to stand up and say no. It's not pushback.
Now, you've written that you hear the same sentence over and over again from your clients. So what is that sentence and how do you help them?
I frequently hear from clients repeatedly some version of, I always handle things on my own. I never thought I'd have to talk to somebody. This is the hardest thing I've had to go through. But again, they shouldn't need someone to talk to. And I think that comes from a number of people who are fiercely independent by nature. But grief can shake the foundation for anybody. And I believe that grief is something we should not have to go through alone. I think when a loss occurs, it rips apart the internal map, and we are left trying to find our footing on unknown terrain with not a whole lot of guides and signposts along the way.
You've written that going through grief, oftentimes people find that joy feels like a betrayal. How do you navigate that?
I think joy can definitely feel like a betrayal to a loved one because people often feel guilty if they have fun. They feel guilty if they have forgotten their loved one for a few minutes or hours or even a couple days. And so when they do have an event in their life that's fun or joyful, they feel like they shouldn't enjoy it or shouldn't have fun because their loved one is not here to have that enjoyment with them. I think it's possible to hold space for both the joy and the guilt. And if we think about it, our loved ones would not want us to stop living our lives. They would not want us to no longer have joy. And so, in the end, the guilt doesn't serve us.
You mentioned that Manolo is constantly wagging his tail. He's perpetually happy and excited. Are there things that you can learn from that?
Manila has definitely taught me a number of things about joy, especially when staying in the present, being mindful. He is always happy wagging his tail, except for the moments when he's passed out in his dog bed and doesn't say goodbye to my clients when they leave. He sleeps hard too, but he definitely takes life a lot less seriously, which is a good reminder, I think. And he can find joy and fun in just about anything he's doing.
You mentioned asking for help. Is that something that you struggle with?
For me, asking for help was role modeled quite well growing up, and I know how to ask for help. I don't like asking for help. I think, like many of us, I worry about how my asking for help is going to be perceived or how that will impact someone's perception of me. I know I'm capable. I know I'm not a burden. I know all these things, but I don't want to come across as incapable or a burden. And I think something that's kind of helped me with that a little bit is a guide dog or a white cane allows me to do more and actually be more capable. Asking for help also allows me to be more capable in the end.
With September coming up, what are you going to be doing differently?
In September, I thought we would talk about how grief shows up in the body and how sometimes more non-verbal therapeutic approaches like EMDR can be helpful. Grief goes deeper than a thought and a feeling, and sometimes talk doesn't resolve it. So sometimes using EMDR or some other modalities might be helpful to help us move our grief forward when it gets stuck. So we're going to cover that in September.
Great. Well, Beth, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for talking with me. Again, my name is Beth Gustin. I'm a licensed therapist in Colorado. And if you like the content, please subscribe and share. And hopefully you'll come back and join us in September.